Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Hard Parking Podcast YouTube channel. Before you go any further, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you do not miss another video as they come out. As a reminder, this is not a direct port of the podcast, which is the Hard Parking Podcast. You can subscribe anywhere you normally get your podcast. This is associative secondary content. In this exclusive interview, for those watching this video, you actually get to see a tour of Shaun Lee's garage at the end of the video, unlike those who listen to the podcast. So, hope you guys enjoy. Sean Lee, founder of Purist Group, changing thousands of lives every year at every one of their events. He had a really tough childhood growing up. I mean, a lot of us did, but please pay attention to some of the stuff that he went through, because I had a rough childhood. I do not know if I could have survived mentally everything that he's endured, and brings a lot of perspective to the Shaun Lee that I've met a few times, but I don't really know. But I feel like after this interview, I know him a lot better. And I mean, he was very vulnerable. He put himself out there because, you know, he has a great story and the story needed to be told. So hope you guys enjoy this. Shaun Lee, welcome to the Hard Parking Podcast.
Thank you for the invite. It's always great to be talking to an old friend, car enthusiast. Also, we have put the same car, you know, the NS6, which is right here.
Yes. NS6 fam. Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Yep, I can see the front, the little front light. Yep, I can see the front little amber light. I've wanted to get you on here for a while, and our schedules, of course, are kind of wonky all over the place. You are an incredibly busy person. People would argue that I'm busy, but I heard you on, you know, Sun King's Garage.
Yeah.
And man, you just have an amazing origin story to tell. And while I will say that everyone has a story to tell, your story is, I mean, it's all relative, but I just found your story to be a little special, you know, a little more unique. And, you know, once people kind of get to know where you come from, then, you know, it kind of helps them more understand, you know, how you are, you know, what's important to you and who you are as a person, because you can read my entire history of my story, but it doesn't tell you who I am, right? And it doesn't tell people who you, Shaun Lee, are. So, you know, just for the listeners, I've kind of talked about this for a while, but, you know, tell us about your beginnings. You know, who is Shaun Lee, and you know, how did you get in front of me right now?
So I immigrated into the States. Let's go back to my origins on my family background. Probably will help people understand later on what I do, what I'm doing right now for charity. So it started when I was 5 years old. My parents divorced, and my at the time I was living in Taiwan. I was born in Taiwan. And 5 years at age 5, my parents divorced, and my mom basically didn't want to have anything to do with me. And so after the divorce, she left Taiwan, came to the United States. So my custody belonged to my dad since 5 years old. And my dad, unfortunately, was a very physical abusive kind of person. So he actually physically abused me from 5 to the age 14. And at age 14, and my father wants to remarry. 9 years. And my father wants to remarry. We're talking about physical abuse, not just like, hey, don't do this. You know, it's you know, I'm 50 years old. I recognize those are really extreme abuse. You know, picking up your kids, tossing up against the wall, hit him with a pen, But, you know, I don't want to go into that. But, you know, abuse is abuse. It's done. I know. I put it past behind me already. So then at age 14, my father wants to remarry it again. So, and he released my custody to my mother. And that's how I came to the United States. When I came to the States, and my mom at the time was an alcoholic, and also she's taking a lot of prescription drugs. So if you know, those two things doesn't mix too well. So she had heart disease and high blood pressures, and she was taking a lot of pills every day, and she's also taking a lot of alcohol every day. We're talking about, at her physique, she was kind of small frame. She's taking minimum half bottles of cognac or brandy or any type of drinks almost every day. Wow. Excuse me. Yeah, that's quite a lot for such a, you know, small physique lady as she is. So she's never physically abusive towards me, but she told me, but she carries a lot of baggage from her marriage between her and my father onto me. So she always tell me that I don't want you since 5. It wasn't for your dad pays me a lot of money. I would never want you to be with me anyway. So I was feeling very depressed. So at age 17, I ran away from home and got on the street, become homeless. I only had one t-shirt and pair of jeans and the tennis shoes and stuff like that. Very small amount of just basically clothing, one backpack full of clothing. I went onto the street. I don't know where to win. So I'm 50 years old. You push back 33 years ago. We don't have cell phone. We don't have a car. We don't have any. I have a bicycle. We don't have anything like the kids that they have right now. All I have is maybe a few. Probably at the time I saved about maybe a few $100s in my pocket. That's all my belonging. And I was on the street. I was sleeping in the park. I don't know what to do. I don't have a job. So of course, the first thing I thought of it is there's no phone, so you cannot find anybody, and your friends cannot find you anyway. So after a few days, a couple of my friends were like, let's say we're supposed to go play basketball, play tennis together. They found out that I've been missing my scheduled playing time with them, and they started looking for me. They called out my house, and my mom told them that I ran off. So they started looking for me. They found me in a local park, and one guy took me back to his house. Still one of my best friends today. Took me back to his house, and I stayed there for a little while on the couch, in the garage. Then I gotta say, hey, I gotta start looking for a job. So with a high school degree, it's hard to find a job. So I started working for McDonald's, door-to-door salesman. I sell everything, advertising on Yellow Pages. I done door-to-door salesman, trying to hey, would you like to buy some pots and pans? And I did them all.
Well,
of course,
Sean,
later on,
there's a lot of people today who have no idea what a Yellow Pages is.
And also Thomas Guy. I mean, back in that day,
yep.
I was doing door-to-door salesman, and the manager at the time gave me a Thomas Guy and draw up like page 45, a P45, that's a P46, and those pages are yours. Hit every single street, every house is going knock on. That's how I did it.
Yep.
I'm seriously, I was selling pots and pans and knives. So they'll give you 10 sets of pots, 10 sets of knife sets, and you knock on door to door, and you just go there and sell it. But I did that for a short while, and not for a really long time. So later on, I started working as a delivery boy in the shipping industry, and then from there on, I got myself involved in the shipping industries and cargo industry, and worked my way up from a delivery boy, a clerk, to operation, and become salesman. Then that's basically a short summary of what my life was, throughout a.
Sure.
Yeah.
Doing all the door-to-door sales, because the doors don't knock as much as they used to, certainly, but every once in a while people come by, but you learn a lot about people. Like, how much do you think that kind of, in a weird way, maybe help prepare you for dealing with people? Because, and we'll get to it in a little bit, I mean, you're in situations where you're dealing with people from where you used to be when you had no place to live, to people who seem to have everything. And they probably all know you as Shaun Lee. How much do you think that helped you?
Yeah, I think the fortunate things is I had that period of time, so I'm very grounded. I love to deal with people. I'm not gonna say like, oh, my net worth is how much right now, therefore I don't like to deal with the regular people. I mean, I have always tried to look for opportunity to able to help the people to thrive and to make them better themselves. And I'm glad that I did that to a lot of people. And right now, a lot of them say I inspire them. They write me letters and to talk about their struggles, making themselves become somebody. And some of them did become somebody, right? But throughout that time, I remember when I was a door-to-door salesman, and actually one of the job I found that's most beneficial for me was McDonald's. Believe it or not, you gotta know, when I came here at 14, I ran away from home at 17. I was still in ESL. My English and pronunciation was,
right. Yeah.
But for me, I have to go out and find a job that are gonna force me to learn English and go out and learn to deal with people. I just remember the first door I knocked on, or the first customer I took when I was standing there at McDonald's. My hand was shaking. I was like,
of course,
yeah, he's just afraid to mess up, and And it was those experiences made me like to deal with people today, who I am today. And and you got to know, and at the time I have to go do it because I have to feed myself, right? But minimum wage back in the day was $3.25 or $3 something an hour. So 320 something an hour. So it's kind of crazy that to survive with that kind of money.
Have you ever, going back, and then we'll leave it, I have a couple follow-up questions, and just for like your information, I have no idea who my birth father was. I was physically abused as a child and given up for adoption. So, not quite as the same trajectory, but, from having a hole, in yourself for a long time, I can kind of identify, have you heard from him since at all, or your mother?
So,
like, what's their story?
So both of them passed away about maybe 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I came towards the end of my mom's life, and I had a pretty darn good relationship with her. So I was trying to buy her house and give it to her as a present, because I understand as a woman that she was in a relationship with a very, very rough guy, and she has no choice but to run away. And regardless, she gave me my life. I was in her womb for 9 months, and I guess there is love from her to me. I could feel it. She just doesn't know how to translate it, how to love a kid, because she never had a kid. She had a kid and she left the environment because she's afraid of environment, and she came to the United States and got remarried, right? As for my dad, I was in custody of my dad, and yet my dad never loved me as a kid and always hitting me, always, telling me how worthless I am and things like that. And so when I get older now, the more I get older, the harder for me to forgive my dad, because I don't have a kid right now. I wish I have a kid. I have a dog, you guys all know, Bobo. Yeah, and people see me go, I love sometimes it makes me cry because I am the kind of person, I love Bobo so much because, every morning I wake up to him and I hold him in my arm like my own kid and kiss him and tell him that you're the best doggy ever. I treat him like my kid. And again, he's not a human being. He is he's the dog. He's still a dog. I mean, for me as a human being, I can have that much love for a animal. I sometimes wonder why is my father don't have love for me at all. It's like it totally puzzles me, and that's why every year during Father's Days it gets me very confused, right? So, and jealous at the time. So this year at 50 on my Father's Day, I posted something on my IG, and it helped me kind of to understand things a lot more and put a closure between me and my father and move forward, which I believe is very healthy for me mentally and also physically, and also in the future as well too. Yeah.
I had a couple things. First off, with Bobo, I get it, and I think it's for people who don't have pets or that have them and don't adore them. It's difficult for them to understand. I'm the same way with Izzy, Mr. Waggles. Everybody who checks out my other page. I mean, I look at him every morning. I probably look at him 500 times a day when he's sleeping. And it's just like watching a baby sleep. It's funny. My family makes fun of me, but
yeah.
I mean, Bobo's with you, man. Bobo's by your side. And then, with Father's Day, I was going to ask you about that and you answered it, but you did mention that you had the three mentors that kind of were basically your father figures.
Yeah.
You talk to them. Are they still around at all? Or do you still talk to them on Father's Day? Or has there ever been that time it's like, look, man, you're my, thank you for doing this.
Yeah. I do talk to all my bosses because they did change my life. I never had a father figure in my life. And unfortunately, my first boss that actually hired me into this particular field, he passed away a couple of years ago. Right before he passed away, he suffered a terminal illness that needs a lot of money at a time. So actually, I bought one of his cars. Actually, I have a short video of me and him eating our last sushi lunch together because he used to love sushi. He's the first guy who hired me into, I was like maybe 18, 19. So I never thought that's going to be our last video together, but I know he's going back to Taiwan to get treatment for some of his illness. At the time, it wasn't that bad. It was like stage 1, right? So I go like, hey, his name's Nick. I go, Nick, I want to record his lunch that we have. My first sushi is actually with him, and he used to be my boss. Usually, he takes me out. I'm basically, I was his chauffeur because I was young, right? So I would chauffeur him around. So everywhere he goes, I go, and he's pretty cool because when he goes see customer, he has lunch. He usually have me sitting at a table, order me exactly the same thing. So I was eating pretty darn good. Whatever he eats, I have his first one who taught me about ramen, sushi, sashimi, sake, and business side of thing. He sent me back to school to have me polish up on my English skill. He said, you got to learn typing because remember, 17-year-old, I ran away. I don't even know how to type yet. Sure. I don't even know English at the time. So he sent me back into relearn typing and pays for all my things because I told him it's too expensive. Even though back in the day it was like, I think $15 a unit. It was really cheap for community college. Still like $15 a unit. But I was making $3.25 an hour. You got to think about it. Right, so I'm trying to save as much money I can. That's why back in the day, I used to sleep in a minivan right in front of the office from Monday to Thursday or even Friday, and I only, instead of renting the whole house, I only rented like a bed where I can sleep at night. And I usually go there on the weekend, type of thing, just trying to save money. I still remember I used to have jars of coins and I was counting the coins to survive. And also, McDonald's back in the days, every like 18 or 21 minutes, they throw away the burger, perfectly good burger. They just throw it away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for food stuff, whatever. So it's the health department.
Yeah, but I usually put it in a separate trash bag. I take it home and eat that for the next 2-3 days. So I love McDonald's food, and yet sometimes the smell of it gets on my nerves. It's like totally. I've been eating it for so long, but I still love their food. Trust me. And there's sometimes I still go back and order a double cheeseburger. That's one of my favorite. Actually, I do that quite often. I eat their double cheeseburger probably at least twice or 3 times a month. Every time I eat it, the moment you bite down, you go like, I remember this was that moment. I remember this, So I still talk to them, and they're my lights. They continue to mentor me on things I get confused about, and because they're older, they have a lot more wisdom. But just the conversation I can carry on with them right now, it's much deeper now in a different level. Before they're always like, so it was them who taught me a lot of value I have, in my ethics. You gotta know I came from a place that has no ethics. Nobody taught me anything, and I could become a completely jerk. I think I did before. So and now they put me on the right track and set me straight and do the right thing.
I mean, but to be fair to you, I mean, a lot of that is built out of, anger and question and wanting to finally, look at me, like I'm here, I belong here, I just look at me, I belong here, I deserve this, I tell you, and like, and hearing that story, especially about the McDonald's taking that bite of that burger and taking you back. Gotta be honest with you, man. It's a little emotional. Like I'm just telling you, and I'm starting to get it even more because like I've known you casually. We see each other at events, once every while because I'm not there. I'm in Arizona, and it's quick hi, bye, quick handshake, quick picture, and then everything else from you is I'm just observing you online and on Instagram and on Facebook and the Purist Drive, Winter Drive, Toy Drive, backpacks, what 3,000 or 30,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have truckloads of donation items and affecting thousands of people every time you do it. And that's what I see of you, but I don't get that insight. And that's why I'm having you on here today so that you can give people that inside slice of you. Because when you're standing next to the cars at the car meets, and I know you don't go to typical car meets that much because you want to be doing that, but people know you, they know your car, and that's about it. They don't get to hear the McDonald's story.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, people always think like probably I came from wealth and or have a tree growing in my house, shake that the money comes out.
I mean, if you do, let me go ahead and send me some of those seeds and I'll plant them and see if I can grow me a money tree too. But the reality is people work hard for what they have, right?
So this is a funny joke about the tree. So we had this conversation with one of my friends. We just met. He's a really nice guy, also a car guy. So I was joking around, I have this tree in my garage, and you shake it, money comes out. But the problem is you cannot shake it. You have to have every once a week, you got to make a phone call to a little green man. Little green man will come to your house. You got to tell him to come and shake the tree, and then the money will fall. Then you just pick up the money. He goes, how do I get hold of green man? Oh, you need a special cell phone. And he goes like, okay, how do I get a cell phone? But I said, only I have it. But if you want to borrow it, it's $1 million.
There you go.
He goes like, oh, that's how you Chinese make money. I said, yep.
That's funny.
So, I say, buy the cell phone and give me the $1 million. I guarantee you get $25,000 back every week by shaking the tree. I was just joking, but it was funny. But goes back to the story. I think I usually, for a long time, I kept my personal story away from the public. I wasn't ready to release it, I think right now I learned to face the inner demons, and I think I owe people in the purist community and car community to know a story as to why I'm doing so much charity, and especially for the kids, toward the kids. And people always like, what's he doing? It's been Purist has been around 10 years. I still remember when we meet at the SEMA the 1 year, I think you gave me your AN6 pin or stuff like, yeah, that was awesome. I always remember stuff like this, and but Purist is never mine. I never tried to create Purist from mine. So we never fundraised. Every time we do an event, money has to come up from somewhere. And if there's not enough money, I write a check. Then and when we give stuff, there's hundreds of volunteers. We have to feed them. Then when to send them out, I went out buy trucks and sprinters. Sometimes you see me driving them. It's just because so I can move those inventories easier around. We have to store them. We have to sort them. It's a lot of work. As bigger we get, the more work we involve. And there's hundreds and hundreds of car enthusiasts and volunteers behind me that stand behind that logo. And now that's touching. We never pay anybody. We never pay advertising. People feel it. They'll come in. They say, oh, I know what they're doing. I love them. And, we endorse them. Because all what we did, we brought in Honda, Nissan, and all this major brand supporting us without we ever approach them with a deck, say, oh, we want sponsorship money. No, we never done that. It was very organic. It was pretty amazing to see how it grow from an idea to blossom into this, a pretty large organization now. And eventually it's going to get bigger now. We actually just did our 501c3 filing. So again, I do it not because we want to get fundraising from all around the world. We do it because right now I'm 50 something. I want to do it because in case one day I'm no longer here, there's still a lot of people in Purist, like tens of thousands of people around the world. And they have to know the value, why we started Purist 10 years ago. We would love to have them, including you, of course, to help move forward. It's something very healthy, very genuine that built not just for the community, not just for the kids. It's also for your kids' future. Because imagine your kids can interact with other Purist members' kids, and most people that stays in Purist, they're gonna be pretty good guy. We vented out already, right? So, then it's like a huge family. It's a huge family. In the car world, I'm not one person that I'm not really in the car world, and yeah, I am.
Sure.
I don't sell stuff. I don't sell wheel. I don't sell tire. I don't sell nothing into the car world. I'm just a guy who enjoy my cars, and I don't consider collections. And I drive on my car. I buy them as to how I'm going to drive them and track them. So it's pretty awesome to see all these car enthusiasts from different part of the world. I see them on different forums. Say, oh, my car is more power. My bill is better than you, better than that. But when you go into Purist, it's like when we post something that we need backpack, we need diaper, we need shampoo and for the homeless, we need toy drive, we need toys. And people just start showing up, tens of thousands of people showing up. And that's like when I know how small I am. And it wasn't for all of them. We all like small screws, and we piece together and we create this big, big machine. And that's how Purist made it.
So why Purist? I mean, why did it, I would imagine it's because of your childhood, right?
Yes.
But for the listeners who don't really know and haven't really pieced it together yet, because it's a big deal. And I think I'm on record as telling you that for the one auto community that we have, which is, we're all into cars. We're all part of this one continuous circle. Seeing the Purist Group and being a part of it, but seeing the Purist Group from afar and all your guys' events and then some of the events that I had back in Michigan, I'm like, man, we can do better, and the hope is that people see that and wherever they're at, Cincinnati, wherever else they're at, saying we can do better. So you've inspired us to do better. And I think we've done pretty good, but that's where some of the inspiration comes on my end. Like for you, why Purist? Like why? Because you don't half-ass it, Sean. Like I said earlier, man, you guys show up with truckloads of stuff for people.
Yeah. So we started, my favorite event now is a back to school backpack. So one teacher, she's actually in Purist. I aired a story out a long time ago. I think it's on YouTube. One of the guys produced on YouTube. She's a teacher at one of the schools. She had one student gets bullied because he carries a very, crappy backpack with all duct tape and so kids were laughing at him in school. So she calls me. I go, hey, Sean, do you have a miniature of a backpack and some school supplies? I go, yeah, but what do you need it for? So she told me the story. I go, how about this? Go around your school, ask every teacher. There gotta be more than just one kids like this, right? So they get her a list about maybe 35 kids. So that was the first year we get her like 40 backpacks and a bunch of toys. We showed up at the school and just passed them out and give it to those kids. And I couldn't believe it. That was a pretty darn good school. It's in a good area, or not like Beverly Hills, but it's not a bad area. It's a B-rated school, and I can believe there's like 30, 40 kids. They're in poverty. Their families are in poverty. So I give that backpack to them and I see them cry and they understand somebody cares about them. That was the very first intimate experiences with a back to school backpack drive. But you get to see those 30 kids up front. And these are high school kids. You got to talk to them one by one. Right now, we're just getting too big. Let me tell you why. Because we're doing about 4,000 to 5,000 backpacks a year. So I can pass out backpacks, but that's only just like 2-second things. They'll say thank you, but I don't get a chance to understand everybody's story. It's kind of sad for me because I love to know everybody's story, but it is what it is. So from that 35 backpacks evolved into today, we're doing about 4,000 to 5,000 backpacks, and we still hand deliver all the backpack to all the kids ourselves. So that's like one of my toy drives were big, right? We get 20 to 25,000 toys. There's another story about toy drive that we continue to do it, rain or shine. I'll tell you the reason for that. But back to school backpack drive is I can give this backpack to the kids, and not for show, but I know they will use it throughout the year, and they can use to gain knowledge. And hopefully, because I get to see them year after year. Every year I give them a new backpack. And so hopefully they'll remember somebody's doing this for them and why they're doing it. And when they grow up, they will pay forward to their community. Yeah. The toy drive, it is big, but it has special meaning in my heart. So, we rarely talk about it, but
talk about it.
Today I'm going to talk about it because it's been a while, right? So it's 10 years. Well, next year will be our Purist 10th year. So our first toy drive, pretty much first or second toy drive, officially under Purist name, or maybe the third one. Okay. That year was when Paul showed up, and that was when the accident happens, and that's to make a long story.
People listening.
Yeah. So to make a long story short is he died on this event by coming out to support it. If we ever cancel this event, so as a tribute to him every year, that's why Cody comes out. And because of his passing, me and Cody become such a close friend. And people doesn't put two and two together. And now they are, right? And that's why every year we do our toy drives. We always have a number of 47s on the shoulder. Paul's favorite number is 47. That's why you notice that my tribute bill on my lining has 47 on there too. And continually to do it in his memory. But, we just never advertise, it's related to Paul Walker. We don't want to do that. So we never talk about this. And we always do little things like the 47 on the shoulder. This is actually a volunteer shirt. You can only get this t-shirt by volunteering. So this is one of the most collectible items. Everybody, it's pretty cool to I see people come and volunteer.
You guys have had shoes, you've had stickers. You can only get that stuff if you're there.
Yeah. Stickers we don't sell. You have to be at a charity event to get. We give it out for free, and you have to continue to come to charity event to collect the special color. The T-shirt is also free too, but you have to. This is actually a very cool. When I build 400 every year, so this is completely given away to free to all the volunteers, and it's cool to see people collecting it because they want to show people like when you go to car show, you see people wearing, you go, hey, I was there. Look, 2019, I was there. There's people like sometimes they will bring all the shirt they collect over the years, and since day one, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. There's a lot of crazy story in Purist that I wish I have the time to start my own YouTube channels and podcasts. I'll get every one of the volunteers to come up and tell the story on why would you volunteer so much of your time for Purist. Like, what is so? I mean, there are people that they're rain or shine every day, just there, and they're one guy that has no money, and it makes me kind of sad because he's actually kind of ill, but he will sell his car parts, and just every time we have an event, food drive, backpack, he will sell his car parts. He took apart his car. I said, don't do that to me anymore. Don't just come and show up, and because it's crazy. It's crazy, and all I can give him is, some swag that I created or some special stuff that people sign. I just give it to them, but it's people like it's them that create this environment. You never thought people were gonna take parts of the car to sell it to buy toys, and he felt bad one year. He goes, I couldn't donate any more toys. This is all I can get. I was like, dude, he come here on his Z, he's filled up with toys already. I go like, dude, stop it. Next time from now on, you're limited to only donate one toys. That's it. Don't bring me. No, seriously, he's very ill. He's
help him against himself sometimes,
Yeah, but I understand he feel good when he participated. He comes here, he feel like he's part of the family. I go, you're part of the family. You donate or not. I know who you are. So his name is Louis. If you're listening, Louis, you're the man. So there's another guy, Dave Thompson. My God, he's an older man. He showed up at our events all the time, packing up backpacks. He's I don't say he's old. I'm sorry, Dave, if you're listening, but he's looks older, but he's very healthy. But he showed up every event, moving the cargo, helping pack the backpack. 100 degrees weather, he's out there. Hats off to you, man, Dave Thompson. There's quite a few people we can name, but it's just too long over the list.
So, Shaun, you've explained a lot of what Purist does, and it matches up a lot of what I see online. There's a lot of you're very proud and accomplished, and maybe still constantly searching a little bit, because again, your beginnings, that's a lifetime. It could be to really, really, really pack it away. And I think that you're doing the work that you were set out to do and changing thousands of lives of people who, honestly, the kid who grabs a backpack, they could have a really screwed up home life, but that backpack can mean the world to them. And I think know that in talking to these people. But when we see you online, sometimes it's, you're humble, Acura, thank you for this opportunity. Hublot, thank you for this opportunity. You official sheriff department, it's an awesome opportunity. It can come across, I think, as at times humble braggish, and you're obviously not that person. I've watched your interviews. I've seen you get very emotional. Shit, I was getting emotional earlier when you were talking about biting into a freaking McDonald's, cheeseburger. Do you get any backlash of people who don't really understand what the real story is? Or do you just it's like the bigger you get in front of the more people you are, the more it invites challenge and skepticism from people who don't really take 5 seconds to understand what's really going on?
I think I got pretty lucky so far. Not that many. I think it's less than 1% of people that have issue with me, right? Because again, I never sell anything. I never took money from anybody.
Right.
I never lied to anybody, and most of the time I do just stuff on my own. The stuff I have to thanks because there's a lot of brand that's supporting us, and I have to go to their events and thank them in person to just to be there. Like Yokohama, SeaTac, Michelin. These are all our big partners in terms of creating this community. And I usually keep my private life very private, and I don't usually tell people what I have, what I drive, and I think people knows that, and people knows what I have, but people see me posting like trucks, Civics, and it's something I like. It's something that's me. I like to use my posting, take people like, this is Shaun Lee when he's 16. When I was 16, I was reading Rolling Track in the library because I couldn't afford Rolling Track magazine. And you remember after high school, I go into the library looking for the newest Rolling Track car and driver, and I learn about cars, this car and that car. So I like older cars, not necessarily they have to be, $300, $400 million car. I like to take people back to who Shaun Lee was back in the day, and you're able to see, like, I enjoy to have crazy fast cars, but I also enjoy the down to earth A86 or Honda Civic and things like that. So
you're very grassroots in the cars that you have, that you really, really enjoy. And of course, I'd imagine, being on the scene, because I've come out there for a few just LA version events. I mean, there's everything there, from Bugattis to whatever. And, that's, do you have like a Tesla or anything like that? Or are you just, internal combustion? I mean, what are your thoughts on kind of where the world has been going with EV and everything?
Believe it or not, I'm consulting on a lot of EV company right now because a lot of them is owned by my friends. And I guess you noticed that from my posting. I just don't talk about we have official affiliation with them yet.
Right.
So for electric car, I do have a BMW i3 and also Karma. I just bought a Karma before they become Karma. It's called Fisker. So it's called Fisker Karma.
Best looking cars ever.
So right now the car is being purchased by a Chinese company. Now it's called Karma Rivero. So a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I first saw the car, and I decided to buy one simply because how they look. I enjoy the car a lot because a lot of people has issue with the early Fisker because they're very, very limited on budget. Plus the management at the time was running it down to the ground, and so the car has tons of problem. So far, I drove about 26,000 miles. I use that as a daily, and I have zero issue with the car except for like 1 or 2 moldings and also the window seal has a little wind noise. That's about it.
And that could be any car. Like any car.
That could be any car, yeah. And I enjoy that car a lot. So I do have alternative energy car like the EV. I actually had quite a lot of EV. I had an EV since 2013.
Okay.
I had a Toyota RAV4. That's when Toyota building that RAV4 was Tesla. So my opinion is on it. There's no way we can avoid, as a car guy, as the future of EV coming in the next 10, 15 years. Your kids and your grandkids will be driving an EV only car because internal combustion chamber, ICE engines, it just simply costs too much to research, R&D, and actually manufacture. So think about it, right? To get extra 30 horsepower out of our NS6, right? I had to change the cam, the exhaust, the header, and throttle body, fuel injection system, just to get maybe 30, 40 wheel horsepower out of it. But for EV, all they have to do is increase the battery pack sizes and allow more current goes into the motor. Boom, you have your 30 horsepower instantaneously. So for longevity of the brand, all they have to do is create a solid platform. They can put a sports car body on top of it, a minivan body on top of it, just use a computer to restrict its output. And you have one single production line, one single production models, a platform that able to fit every single category of the cars, And on top of that, it's very fast. It's energy efficient compared to ICE, which is internal combustion engine, and all these benefits. So for car developer, unfortunately, we are the last. Maybe your next generation will be the last to.
It's looking like it.
So later on, car enthusiasts, I always tell we have a lot of friends that are in the car world, and they're famous critics of like automotive magazines. We always talk about the future of car critics. Are they going to be car critics or transportation critics? Think about it.
Right.
Like I would love to own a Tesla right now because LA traffic is, it's horrible. But imagine I want to go to Arizona and see you. As long as the range allow, I would love to hop on a Tesla, type in my destination, And now just start driving. And I don't have to focus on brake. You know what? The painful part to driving traffic gets people fatigued was you putting your pedal, gas, brake, gas, brake, gas. It take that miserable part of your life on driving out of it. It does it for you. So wouldn't it be better that for daily commute, you save your energy, sipping on a coffee and just watching the traffic, watch the sky, let a robot, basically it's a robot now, and the car does it for you. You know, save your energy. When you arrive at your destination, we can still be more relaxed and have fun, right?
But then you're essentially a passenger, right?
Yes.
You're saying, are you a car critic or a transportation critic?
Yeah. And cars like this is, I told cars like this, then will never make it anymore. It's a car that actually give you a workout, exercise for your heart and your soul, you know?
Yeah.
But in the future, unfortunately, there's no more car guys. So you will be you don't really have, you got to find other alternative to work out your heart and soul. So like today, I want to hear the engine growling. I want to feel like the weight on my steering wheel. I want to hear my tire tripping. I want to feel the understeer going to the wall and save it. Not going to happen anymore. And the only way you can do it is getting to one of this, right? And no more cars in the future. All the cars going to be faster than this, what we have right now. But it doesn't have no emotions or soul anymore. It's a perfect transportation now. That's what they're working on right now. Every manufacturer is working on getting the perfect transportation. You know, and car without an engine, without you being there. Maybe I'm old school for your listener. I hope nobody get pissed at me today.
No. It's all age ranges on this one.
Yeah, I think for cars, you gotta have a manual transmission. You gotta have an engine. You want to hear. I mean, for me, we're old school. I gotta hear the sound. That's like my coffee, and that will wake up my soul every morning. That will make me want to go out, hop in a car, and go out drive 400 or 500 miles, and come back home. I'll have a smile. I'll be very, very tired, but I'll have a smile. That's what I think. Yeah, very unfortunate. 10, 20 years later.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Very sorry to say, 10, 20 years later, there won't be cars. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Sean. We're going to move on to the video portion of this, and I'll let the listeners know how to get a hold of you on the audio.
Okay.
All right, let's keep rock and rolling. What do you got there for us?
Okay, it's pretty messy. I'm going to turn the camera around now. I'm going to show you a couple. Again, it's very messy, okay? So I'm going to show you a couple cars. Oh, man, this is a criminal putting all this junks on the car. But, of course, this is the N6 that you know of. It's on Petrolicious. We talk about the N6 a little bit. So you have one, so it's...
that's 92?
This is a 91.
91
coupe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So right now it's about maybe I think 70-some thousand miles on it.
How much?
About 76,000 miles.
76. Wow. Okay, not bad at all.
Yeah. And that's my 34 over there. This part has my bikes are over there, the Ducati and the MV Agustus over there. So this is my this car is kind of unique. This is actually Paul's old GT3 RS that he sold to me. And so after he sold to me, and you know how we guys always talk about cars that we want to build a car certain ways. And so he wants to have the lightest RS out there. And so this is actually Lexus off the Cup cars. And if you notice the front fenders, it's actually a Cup car front fender. It's also in carbon to make the car as light. Yeah. Then I put in the Acura GT seats in there.
Those are nice.
Yeah, this is Acura GT seats. And we try to order a car as light as possible. So Paul is a real car guy. So nothing on the steering wheel, no chrono package, and menu seats, and also no nav, no nothing in the middle, as simple as possible, as light as possible. So we just want to create the lightest 997 RS, and this was the car. So
Yeah, it looks pretty gutted without. I mean, while still having an interior.
Yeah.
Race
So
car
this
trim
was,
gutted.
and Will helped me do some suspension tuning on it. So that's my OR35. Let me try to squeeze over here.
I say I'm seeing that on the videos. Like, how are you going to get through that?
Yeah, I got it. I'm skinny.
One or
That's why I
two
need to
trips
click.
less to McDonald's.
I know. So this is my R35 that I've been driving this a little less recently because we just have so many new projects that we're building right now, just for fun. Oh, that's not good.
And you do. I think you'd mentioned you're in the shipping.
Yeah, yeah, cargo business.
Cargo. Okay.
So we built this back in the day. This is roughly about maybe 600 some horsepower. And this is my CLK63 Black Series.
How many cars do you have, Squeeze? How big is that space? Because it looks pretty tight, but it's probably tight because you have so much stuff.
Yeah, I have so much shit in here. This is also an OE46 that I gotta take it out for a spin. I missed this car. This car is so raw, so much fun. This is also one of a puzzle car, and it has JRZ. I don't know if you can tell from here. JRZ suspension right there.
Now the one thing I'm noticing about these vehicles, and I could be like way off, but they're all uniquely different enough to give you a completely different driving experience.
Oh yeah. Like this car I drive a lot less now because it's such a fast car. This car actually destroyed my dream to own any more exotic cars because it is so fast to provide still somewhat a mechanical and analog grip on this car when you turn off the traction control, which has made it a lot of fun. So ever since I built this car, I found there's no need to buy any more cars, I think, which is kind of good, This was my very first Ducati. I sold it to a friend. And many years later, he actually gave me this bag as birthday present. But the thing is, he never rode it, so it's only 2,400 miles on it.
Don't you have now that gold wing somewhere?
Yeah, I gotta show you. It's right over there. So this is a 999R that I bought. I need to write this too. So we'll go into this car. This is the world lowest mileage RX-7. It has only it currently has 1,800 miles.
Holy!
Let's go back. Yeah, let's go back to the going. So this is the going. The goings are special. But if you know the story about this was, so Honda asked me to go on a commercial without telling me what commercial they want me to do. And originally I thought I was just going to go there and ride the bike and say a few words. But later on turned out it was a surprise commercial that in the end of the commercial, they told me like, hey, we're actually from Honda Corporate and also Hertz Publishing and Honda USA, Hertz Publishing and Road and Track Magazine. So if you go search Road and Track magazines, the Road and Track, Shaun Lee, Going, you're able to pull this up. So at the end of the commercial, they say, because Purist has done so much work for the community and we have a program called Earn Your Wing. It's like angel earning a wing. Sure. We'd like to give you a free going. And that's how this bike came to be. And this is like, for me, this means a lot for every single member in the Purist because this is like a trophy. We all won this bike together. It's not mine. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's so hard to have a major corporate give you some kind of recognition like this. And this is it. This is better than, I would say, any motorcycles in here, has more sentimental value. Meaning, yeah, because this is not just Shaun Lee's bike. This is 10,000 people, all your effort going to Purist. Yes, they give it to me, but this is everybody's bike. So if I die one day, this will be donated into Purist's 501c. And actually, a lot of car here, when I die, it's going to be donated into a Purist 501c. That's a Robert De Niro painting. Yeah. That's a painting I commissioned because Robert De Niro is a good friend with my friends Nobu here. You guys are the first one ever to see it because Nobu's not going to see it till Thursday. Okay, so I'm bringing this painting to Nobu on Thursday to show him. So yeah, Nobu's a good friend of mine.
That's awesome. Yeah, he'll see it like we're seeing it right now. I see it, but he'll see it before the rest of the parking crew. So this is the lowest mileage in the world.
RX-7, never restored. Everything's original paint.
It's a G2.
Yeah, so it's a 10th anniversary edition. It comes with a louver from factory. I'm gonna go in there. Let's check out the interior. Seats are perfect. Door panel. Okay, I'm gonna sit inside. I'm gonna turn the lights.
Hopefully you never get in a point where you actually need money because you work so hard to get everything that you have and have such a good network. But if so, I mean, bring a trailer. Yeah.
1,806 miles.
That's crazy. We're witnessing this.
So I drive this car. I try to put on 100 miles every year. The reason why is to keep the engine. It's a rotary engine. You have to drive it. So we're just gonna keep it driving. Like sometimes I go to events, I take it out, drive 20, 30 miles on it. Petrolicious did a video on this one, and so Donut Media did a video on this one. When we found it was only 1,200 miles. So I bought this car maybe 8 years ago. I just been driving it. So this is a 10th anniversary RX-7.
That's amazing.
Yeah, show you the front. Still had the pop-up headlight. Let me see the headlight. Headlight should be this one here. My headlight up.
Sean, thank you for showing us your talking about your history and also showing us in your collection.
It's an honor. So this is 10th anniversary, 100% stock. So this car was found by Cody. One day you can ask him. This car belonged to Cody Walker's grandfather-in-law. So Cody went up to Oregon to marry Felicia, and he found this car in the barn. And he called me. I go, hey, Sean, what the hell is this? I go, like, it's an RX-7. But at the time, I didn't know the mileage. I go, like, yeah, but, it's most likely has a blown engine. So originally I had the CB headlight. See that?
Wow.
Yeah. So I go, like, yeah, you probably don't want to touch it. So he actually had managed to get a car started up. And then from there on, it still has an original engine. So he started up the car with smoking. I go, like, I probably need to rebuild the engine, blah, 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 blah. It ended up, so he goes, how much would this be worth? I told him the number. Then he sends me a mileage. I go, like, because at the time the car was very dirty and nasty. So I thought, oh man, the car has an odometer rollback. I mean,
sure.
The guy rolled back the odometer. And because remember, this was in a barn for a long time. So it was like, dust, spider web, what kind of crap you can think of is on there. And I was like, no, that's original. I was like, it cannot be original. I said, how about this? Go take a photo of the go get the car washed up and cleaned up and send me a photo of the underbody. Then I'll determine if it's actually original or not. And he sends me the pictures. And it was like, holy cow, is this a 1,200-mile car? And I go, Cody, buy it. So originally he was going to buy it, but the process was like, he goes like, you know what? I don't have a place to store it. I cannot take care of the car properly. Say, Sean, do you want it? I was like, hell yeah. So I rushed to the bank and sent me the payment, and that's how I ended up with the car. Actually, I didn't send him the payment. I sent it to his father-in-law, and that's how I ended up have the honor to have this car and in my possession. So it's pretty cool. Oh, I forgot. There's also a 991 GT3 up there too. So.
Oh yeah, I was looking at it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just a regular 991 GT3. So.
Just another one of those. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, most of my cars. I have another storage. Most of my cars, some of the cars, stuff here is what I drive most. And and the other story will have other cars, right? Like my 31 wagon, 32, S2000, the Super Turbo. Of course, I just recently got a 300ZX twin turbo, and I don't know what else. Here is the cave. This is what I'll be driving this month. All the cars here. Yeah.
The theme there is they're all, and this is going to sound a little sacrilegious. They're all normal, fun, enthusiast level vehicles.
Yeah, they are.
Like we were saying earlier, they're not, there's nothing wrong with Ferraris, Lamborghinis, any of that kind of stuff, but that's just not what stirs your soul.
Yeah, I used to have them, but I really can't afford them because their maintenance cost is way too high. Every time I drive them, I had to tow them back. I go to track. I'm gonna drive this car really hard today. 2 laps later, I have to tow the car back. And all the cars here, you gotta have one purpose. Today, I can drive to the track, drive whole day, and come back. That's the bare minimum that has to fulfill. That's one of my requirements. So most of the cars I have here right now, the brands are right now going back to just purely JDM German cars because especially I have older cars now, and I need them to be easier to find parts. I need to ease them to be repaired, and the turnaround time has to be really quick. So that's why I started going back into my roots, JDM and German cars.
Shaun, I gotta run. I want to thank you so much for taking out this time. It was worth the wait, and
thank you.
Hopefully I'll see you in person again soon.
Oh, very, very soon. Monterey Car Week and SEMA's coming up.
I'm gonna miss both of those. So
really? Okay.
My wife scheduled a family trip.
I might be in Arizona very soon, just to let you know.
Well, I'm out here. Let me know because I'm out here with Jane and all that. So
okay.
I think you guys got to see each other and hang out during the Fuel Fest. In fact, she sponsors my podcast. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. See you. Thanks.
See you. Take care, man.
Yep. Wow, what an amazing story. You can see more of Shaun Lee on Instagram at Sean Lee, SeanLee. It'll be in the description 768. You can follow his dog, the Bobo Lee, as well. That'll also be down in the description. If you like what you heard, hit the thumbs up. I mean, anybody who hits the thumbs down, I don't know why you would do that, but let me know in the comments. Till then, catch you guys next time.